Hi, Internet. It's day 48 of 365. What was I going to call it? Today is the day in the life of a wake-up call. Why is it a wake-up call? Because I almost died. No, that's very dramatic. But it was kind of dramatic. So I had to call the fire department this morning because my carbon monoxide detector went off. Not low battery went off. It went off. And what was really irritating is I had just gotten to sleep. I mean, obviously it wasn't a restful sleep, but oh man. So that chaos that started a couple of weeks ago was still there. Actually, it had gotten worse because it's the mini chaos kept growing. And the thing is, it was starting to make sense. Or I was this week I'm going to really take care of it. I have to. And I hadn't. But then I had to call the fire department because, I reset it and it stopped going off. So I'm I don't feel dizzy. I don't feel the symptoms of what I'm supposed to expect. And so I really was I don't know what's going on. And I did this thing. Okay. Internet. My little corner of the internet. Do not do anything I did. If the carbon monoxide detector goes off in your place, I think what a Google search told me was if it's 4 consistent beeps, and if that lady, because I think a lot of detectors now have the lady yelling at you, carbon monoxide detected, carbon, yeah, and it was beep, beep, beep. That's a legit reading, okay? If that happens, call 911, get out. The thing is, I was so mad. The last time something happened where I was legit, oh, this is a thing, was in 2013, or was it 2014? Anyway, which is almost 11 years ago, 13 years ago, I ran the Santa Rosa Marathon, and there was an earthquake. And I was literally shaken awake. It was pretty big. And so I was shaken out of bed. And it was approximately the same time, 4 a.m.-ish. And I was so mad. Because in my mind, it immediately went to, oh, this is an earthquake. Oh, this is bad. Picture frames are falling at the Airbnb I was at. But all I was thinking was, I have a marathon to run in 2 hours. What are you doing? So I went back to bed, which is not smart at all, because it could have been worse. Thankfully, God saved me. God protected me. And today, too, when the alarm first went off, if I'm being completely honest, it was I think it was closer to 2 or 3 a.m. But I was in such a haze, genuinely a haze, and I had fallen asleep. Again, bad habit, do not do this. I had fallen asleep with YouTube playing, and so I thought it was YouTube, on my phone that was next to me, so I turned that off and I just went back to bed. But then it went off again, and I'm am I dreaming? What's going on? But then some instincts kicked in, and the irritating thing about this alarm is that it kept going off and then it stopped. The smoke alarm, it just goes on, it continuously goes on, and I, having cooked without having my fan on, you just fan it a couple times and then it just stops. That's easy enough to figure out. But with a carbon monoxide detector, it was going off and then it stopped so sporadically to a point where it didn't register that, like, oh shit, there's carbon monoxide in my place. And on top of that, I didn't have any symptoms. So I'm like, and then I thought, okay, if it's real, I reset it, didn't go off again. I opened my bedroom window and I was like getting ready to go back to sleep. And then it went off again. Again, this is happening within a span of like 30 minutes or so from when it like dawned on me that, oh, maybe this is a real thing. This is not low battery. This is not. And then, so I literally search what is the non-emergency number, because I still just don't want to call 911. My place is a mess and I feel fine, and I'm like, I don't want people to come in. I just don't. But then the dispatcher heard me, and the alarm was going off, and he's like, no, we're sending someone. And the whole time I'm just mortified. I live in a town, very suburban town, where it's like not proper fire department, it's like volunteer fire department. I think I'm learning more and more about this. Like, if you live in a really small town, there's like a coalition of fire departments, I think, that work together to support one another, or it's volunteer. I don't know the inner workings of American suburbs, but entire time I'm like, oh my gosh, it's 4:00. I'm like very embarrassed now, because this is not an emergency to me. This is just an embarrassment, which I guess probably shows a psyche of, how much ingrained in me is this like notion of not asking for help, even though I could have died. Anyway, fire chief comes, he's like, has a little detector, and he's like, yeah, you got carbon monoxide. He's like, and then did you do laundry? It's like, and I had done laundry, but it'd been hours before. And then they even called the gas company to like detect, but he had come enough time later, and at that point I had all my, like, everything was open, so the amount of however much carbon monoxide was in my place had dissipated enough where the detector wasn't going off anymore. So what was the culprit? The culprit was me. I had cooked something. Oh no. Oh no. Oh wow. Okay, so the culprit was me, but it's bad. So 2 days ago, I had made hot chocolate, stovetop, and I have a gas stovetop, and I'm very good about this 99.99999% of the time, because I was always scared of like getting the fire department involved in terms of cooking. I'm like very paranoid about it. I have a fire blanket and hydrant and everything. But I had I guess instead of turning it to turn it off, I had turned it the other way, and it was still on, but like low. So there was gas coming out of my stovetop. But I turned it off, and it just didn't register to me until like after. Well, I didn't want to tell them, because here's the other thing. I turned it off, and they kept going to a different part of my house as like the main culprit. So I think that probably played a factor. But again, I'm functioning on high embarrassment at this point. Like, I did this to myself. I nearly killed myself. Well, no. See, that's an exaggeration too. Because I have a very high state-of-the-art, high functioning detector that told me I had carbon monoxide in an increment where, if you look at the chart, it was so low. But it was high. It was like, you know how everything is like green, yellow, yellow, orange, red. Like there's that increasing degrees of danger. I was still at green, but it was just, there was a green to yellow line, and it was just on that line, and my carbon monoxide detector was like, meh, meh, meh. So I'm very thankful that I live in a place with such a sensitive, like where I used to curse, it was overly sensitive detector, because I'm alive. Even though it was such a low dose degree or low concentration, it was still high enough where it set it off. And this is where I'm saying it was the wake-up call. It was a literal wake-up call, but I think also on a spiritual life level, man, my anxiety is still spiked, not gonna lie. There is a little bit of paranoia of how I'm gonna sleep now. What am I gonna do now? But I know it was a wake-up call, and I need to take time, which, starting Lent, it's amazing how these things coincide, where I have to really, I can't bullshit it, you know? Like, not that I was planning on bullshitting, like, Lent and commitments, but I think there was a part of me that I wasn't approaching it with the correct attitude or the correct heart. And with a lot of things. So, how did I spend the rest of my day? Little things here and there, but the chaos has officially, I made a lot of progress, like true progress. Yeah, like saying yes to a date on what's possibly the busiest Saturday of my life. Oh my gosh, I don't know why I did that to myself. I am an introvert. I'm an attention-seeking introvert, but I'm also like, yeah, I guess there's a part of me that was like, I have no reason to say no. You know? I don't know if I like that guy, but the conversation we had was 5 minutes, and I don't think it's fair to write off someone after 5 minutes. To be fair, I did write off people from that event after 5 minutes, but it was, with this one person, which it was the ultimate, it's not you, it's me. And I think that's a totally fair, I used to be the person when I was a hopeless romantic watching way too many romantic comedies, where I hate it when people say it's not you, it's me, because it seemed like such a cop-out. If this person is so great, why would you break their heart? Why would you do that? But I guess the older I'm getting, it's hitting me that no, that is valid. It's completely valid. As long as you don't do anything like you cheat or, where you betray the trust. But even before anything starts, or even where you come clean and say realistically, like, it really isn't you. Like, you acknowledge that it's me, or I acknowledge it's me. And in this situation, it really was me. Most of those, it was me. Like, there are a lot of great people in this world, and we often we often judge ourselves based on what they think, but it's like, no, it's just me. I don't know if I'm in a place where I want to be dating, but I don't want to like not be dating. I want to be married, but I don't know if I want to be married. Like, I have a lot of questions, and it's fair to have those questions, but I don't think I should be scared to act on anything because I have questions. Maybe that was a wake-up call. Okay. I know it was a wake-up call. I think I'm still processing the fear of it going off. I'm used to fire alarm, like I once fell asleep having forgotten to turn off a candle. I'm used to fire alarms. Carbon monoxide alarm, that's different. Like, that's really different. What if I had a shitty carbon monoxide detector and it wasn't the sensitive? I would have died. If I have a fear, reasonable or unreasonable, it's the fact that it used to be that like I died and no one discovers me, but it used to be, now it's like I die in my sleep and like the secret that's uncovered is just embarrassing. If I die in my sleep and people come to a clean house and I don't, and then the secret's discovered, or the story that my place tells is the way that I look at it, and I'm going to quote something because this is burned in my mind, is in Critical Role, EXU, Calamity. There's total spoilers if you are D&D actual play person, but this was 2020. But there's a scene that's created where a father is just going through his house, going through like it was a workaholic dad. He's going through his house, and the line that is, "You discover the mystery of who your children were," and I was like, that's so. But it's true, right? Because when people leave, people die. That happens every day. When you look at their stuff, it's the mystery of who they were. Maybe that's why I kind of started doing this, because if something happens to me in any sense of the word, like, I wish I was a person where I could consistently write a diary, but I think my brain right now functions better in speaking, and I don't have the attention to write yet. I should, though. Maybe I'll become a diary person. Second half of 2026, 2027, who knows? Write a volume. Okay, this is long. I've been rambling forever. This is what happens. Anyway, it was a wake-up call. I gotta go. Yeah, I didn't do any of the pre-recordings that I'd say I do. Still fasting, but I did print out my script of all the things I want to work on memorizing and planning and make my own one-woman show for the next 50 days or so and see what happens. We're gonna see what happens. I cannot back out from this. It's just delayed, but the production is going to happen. We'll see. Okay, enough rambling now. Go hug someone. Say I love you to someone. Appreciate the life you have, because really, you never know when your last day could be, when you can go to bed and never wake up. Bye.